Some once stood in the spotlight, shining bright on stages and screens. They made us laugh. They made us cry. They became a part of our lives. But time and fate have brought them to a different stage. One where they quietly fight battles with illness, with age, and with the nearness of death. This is not a story of fading fame, but of quiet strength. Bruce Willis was born on March 19, 1955, in West Germany. He rose to fame as a charismatic detective in Moonlighting, but it was Die Hard that made him a global action icon. With over 100 film credits, including Pulp Fiction and The Sixth Sense, he became one of Hollywood's most beloved stars. But in 2022, the world was shocked by news of his diagnosis: aphasia, a disorder that affects communication. A year later, doctors confirmed a more serious condition: frontotemporal dementia, a disease that slowly takes away memory, language, and identity. Bruce has since stepped away from acting, choosing a quieter life surrounded by family. His wife Emma once said, "We're learning to love Bruce in a new way, a little more each day." Even in silence, Bruce remains a hero. Not for the battles he fought on screen, but for the strength he shows now, facing life's hardest fight with quiet courage. Shannon Doherty rose to fame in the 1990s with iconic roles in Beverly Hills, 90210, and Charmed. She was bold, fiery, and unforgettable. In 2015, her world changed when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. The cancer returned in 2020. Now stage 4. It has spread to her brain and bones. But Shannon refuses to surrender. She speaks openly, fights bravely, and reminds the world that even in pain, there is purpose and there is power. "I'm not done yet," she said, and truly, she isn't. Michael J. Fox became a household name in the 1980s, starring in Family Ties and the legendary Back to the Future trilogy. He was young, sharp, full of life, a true icon of his generation. But in 1991, at just 29 years old, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a slow, degenerative illness that affects movement and speech. For years, he kept it private. But eventually, he went public, not to seek sympathy, but to lead a fight. Through the Michael J. Fox Foundation, he has raised over $1.5 billion for Parkinson's research, becoming a global symbol of resilience and hope. "With gratitude, optimism is sustainable," he once said, and his life proves exactly that. Sam Neill, the beloved actor from Jurassic Park, has been a calm, commanding presence on screen for over 4 decades. Born in Northern Ireland and raised in New Zealand, he became one of cinema's most respected figures, known for roles in The Piano, Hunt for the Wilder People, and of course, as Dr. Alan Grant. In 2022, Sam revealed he had been quietly battling stage 3 blood cancer, a rare form called angioimmunoblastic T-cell lymphoma. He underwent aggressive treatment, including chemotherapy and experimental drugs. The journey was brutal, but he faced it with honesty and grace. Rather than retreat, he wrote a memoir during recovery, saying, "I'm not afraid of dying, but it would annoy me." Today, his cancer is in remission, but he knows the battle may return. Still, Sam Neill lives with humor, humility, and the quiet bravery of a man who continues to choose life every single day. Kathy Bates is one of Hollywood's most powerful actresses, best known for her chilling role in Misery, which won her an Academy Award. But behind her strong presence on screen is a woman who's quietly fought intense battles off-screen. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2003, and then again with breast cancer in 2012. leading to a double mastectomy. Later, she developed lymphedema, a painful condition caused by cancer treatment. Yet she didn't hide. She became an advocate, speaking up for survivors and raising awareness for those silently suffering. Kathy once said, "I'm not a victim, I'm a fighter." Today, she continues to act, inspire, and prove that real strength isn't loud, it's lived. Jane Fonda is more than a movie star. She's an icon of cinema, activism, and resilience. From Barbarella to Grace and Frankie, her career has spanned over 6 decades, marked by bold roles and even bolder convictions. In 2022, at the age of 84, Jane revealed she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a serious cancer of the lymphatic system. She began chemotherapy immediately and continued to speak out on climate change, justice, and aging with purpose. Just months later, she announced her cancer was in remission. Fonda said, "I'm not afraid of death. I've lived a good life." But she's not done yet. Still marching, still acting, still reminding the world what grace under fire really looks like. Christina Applegate found fame as a teenager in the hit sitcom Married with Children. Over the years, she proved herself, not just as a comedic star, but a deeply talented actress in roles like Dead to Me and Anchorman. In 2008, she was diagnosed with breast cancer at just 36. She underwent a double mastectomy and beat it. But in 2021, another blow came. A diagnosis of multiple sclerosis, a chronic illness that affects the nervous system. Since then, her mobility has declined. She now walks with a cane and sometimes appears in a wheelchair. Yet Christina remains fierce, funny, and unfiltered. She continues to speak out with honesty and dark humor, even calling her cane "my new best friend." "I'm not giving up," she said, and no one who knows her spirit would ever expect her to. Selma Blair rose to fame in the late 90s and early 2000s, with standout roles in Cruel Intentions, Legally Blonde, and Hellboy. Known for her wit and edge on screen, she built a career full of bold, unforgettable characters. But in 2018, Selma revealed she had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a chronic disabling disease of the central nervous system. The symptoms were brutal: pain, fatigue, muscle loss, speech issues. Yet she faced it all head-on, sharing her journey publicly, even walking the red carpet with a cane and a tremor, unapologetically herself. In 2021, after an intense stem cell treatment, her MS entered remission, but the struggle remains. Selma once said, "This is my reality, and I'm not ashamed." Through her honesty, she has become a voice for millions, proving that beauty and strength can still shine, even through illness. Jeremy Renner is best known as Hawkeye in the Marvel Universe, but his talent stretches far beyond superheroes, with Oscar-nominated roles in The Hurt Locker and The Town. In January 2023, his life changed in an instant. While helping clear snow near his home, he was crushed by a 7-ton snowplow. He broke over 30 bones, suffered blunt chest trauma, and nearly died. But Jeremy didn't let tragedy define him. Through months of painful rehab, he learned to walk again, step by step, documenting his journey with courage and gratitude. He now calls it a miracle of survival. "I chose to survive," he said, and with every breath, he's proving just that. Céline Dion is one of the most powerful voices the world has ever known. From "My Heart Will Go On" to "The Power of Love," her music has touched millions across decades. But behind the spotlight, Céline has been fighting a rare and painful illness, stiff person syndrome, a neurological disorder that causes severe muscle spasms and affects mobility and speech. She revealed her diagnosis in 2022 after canceling tours and disappearing from the public eye. Performing became nearly impossible. But Céline remains determined. She's undergoing treatment and vocal therapy, and says she will not give up on her dream to sing again. "I miss it so much," she said tearfully. "And I miss you." Even in silence, her voice continues to move us, a symbol of grace, pain, and unwavering strength. Toby Keith was a towering figure in country music, a deep voice, a patriotic heart, and songs that echoed across America. With hits like Courtesy of the Red, White and Blue, and Should Have Been a Cowboy, he became one of country's most recognizable stars. But in 2021, Toby was diagnosed with stomach cancer. He kept it quiet at first, focusing on treatment, undergoing surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. In 2022, he shared the news with fans and stepped back from the stage to heal. Despite weight loss and fatigue, he returned in 2023 for a surprise performance in Las Vegas. He was weaker, but smiling, singing. "I'm feeling pretty good," he said. "I'm just trying to get back into fighting shape." Toby Keith faces cancer the way he faced life, head-on, guitar in hand, and with country soul. Linda Ronstadt was once called the Queen of Rock. With a voice both powerful and tender, she dominated the charts in the 1970s and 80s, crossing genres from rock to country to Latin music. Her songs, Blue Bayou, You're No Good, Desperado, became timeless. But in 2013, Linda revealed she could no longer sing. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, which was later reclassified as progressive supranuclear palsy, a rare, incurable brain disorder. The voice that had moved millions was suddenly silent. But Linda did not fade. She began writing, mentoring, and speaking honestly about aging, illness, and identity. "I can't sing," she said, "but I can still listen." And her music, her legacy, still sings for her. Travis Barker is one of rock's most electrifying drummers, famous for his work with Blink-182 and known for turning chaos into rhythm. But in 2008, his life nearly ended. A plane crash took the lives of 4 people. Travis survived, but with third-degree burns over 65% of his body. He endured dozens of surgeries and skin grafts. The pain was unbearable, both physical and emotional. He battled survivor's guilt, depression, and even a fear of flying that lasted over a decade. Then, in 2022, another health scare came, life-threatening pancreatitis, following a routine medical procedure. Yet every time, Travis fought back. With drums in his hands and family by his side, he kept moving forward. "I'm invincible until I'm not," he once said. And somehow, he still is. Ian Smith is best known as Harold Bishop, from the beloved Australian soap Neighbours. For decades, his kind face and gentle spirit became a part of daily life for millions of viewers. But behind the familiar smile was a man quietly facing real battles. In his later years, Ian was diagnosed with lung cancer, a difficult and frightening reality for anyone, let alone someone so deeply tied to the idea of warmth and stability. He also opened up about past struggles with depression, showing that pain can live even in the most familiar faces. Though he stepped away from the spotlight, his courage never dimmed. "You don't need to be loud to be strong," he once said. And through illness, silence, and age, Ian Smith still reminds us of the quiet power of resilience. Alan Alda became a household name as the wise-cracking yet deeply human Hawkeye Pierce in the classic TV series MASH. With 7 Emmy Awards and a career spanning decades, he became one of America's most respected actors and storytellers. But in 2018, Alda shared a deeply personal truth. He had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The tremors began subtly, but instead of hiding, he went public, choosing openness over fear. He kept acting, kept podcasting, kept moving, sometimes even boxing or dancing to stay active. "It doesn't stop your life," he said. "It changes the way you live it." With humor, honesty, and hope, Alan Alda continues to show us how to grow older with grace. Michael Bolton's voice is unmistakable. A powerful blend of soul and emotion that made hits like "How Am I Supposed to Live Without You" and "Said I Loved You." But I Lied, timeless. With multiple Grammy Awards and global success, he became one of the most iconic voices of the 90s. But in late 2023, Michael shared heartbreaking news. He had been diagnosed with a brain tumor. It was a shocking revelation. He quietly underwent surgery and stepped away from performing to focus on recovery. Still, his message to fans was full of gratitude and strength. "I'm healing every day, and I can't wait to sing for you again." Though the stage may be quiet for now, Michael Bolton's voice and his spirit continue to inspire. Tisha Campbell lit up the screen in the 90s, starring in hit sitcoms like Martin and My Wife and Kids. With her sharp humor, singing voice, and magnetic energy, she became a beloved figure in Black television. But behind the laughter, Tisha was fighting a quiet battle. For years, she lived with sarcoidosis, a rare autoimmune disease that causes inflammation in organs, especially the lungs. It affected her breathing, her energy, and her daily life. Still, she kept performing, speaking out, and raising awareness. She also survived an abusive relationship and came out stronger, using her platform to help others find their voice. "I've been through fire," she said, "but I'm still standing." And stand she does, with strength, purpose, and resilience. Keltie Knight is known for her vibrant presence as a TV host, entertainment journalist, and former dancer. From The Insider to E! News, and as co-host of the Lady Gang podcast, she built a career with energy, honesty, and style. But in 2024, Keltie shared a deeply personal update. She had been diagnosed with cervical cancer. The news came as a shock, even to someone so used to life in the public eye. She began treatment immediately, undergoing surgery and facing the unknown with courage. Through it all, Keltie chose to be open, hoping her story might help save lives through early detection. "I'm scared," she admitted, "but I'm also hopeful." With vulnerability and strength, Keltie Knight is showing the world what bravery really looks like. Wendy Williams made a career out of speaking boldly. From radio queen to daytime TV icon, her show, The Wendy Williams Show, became a cultural force. Famous for its gossip, honesty, and her signature catchphrase, "How you doing?" But behind the scenes, Wendy faced serious health battles. She was diagnosed with Graves' disease and lymphedema, which caused swelling, fatigue, and pain. Then, in 2024, her team revealed another heartbreaking diagnosis: frontotemporal dementia and aphasia, a progressive condition affecting memory and speech. Wendy has since stepped away from the spotlight, but her legacy as a fearless voice remains strong. "I'm still me," she once said, "just a little different." Even in silence, Wendy Williams continues to make an impact. Morgan Freeman is more than a legendary actor. He is a voice of wisdom, calm, and strength. With unforgettable roles in The Shawshank Redemption, Driving Miss Daisy, and $1 Million Baby, he has inspired generations with grace and power. But behind his calm presence lies a hidden struggle. Since a 2008 car accident, Freeman has lived with fibromyalgia, a condition that causes chronic pain, especially in his left arm, which he can no longer use fully. He often hides the pain in plain sight, his hand in a glove, his posture adjusted. But he never let it stop him. "I have to move on," he once said. "If you're not living, you're just existing." Despite the pain, Morgan Freeman continues to work, narrate, and inspire, proving that true strength is often the quiet kind. Michael C. Hall captivated audiences with his chilling performance as Dexter, the complex anti-hero with a code. But in 2010, at the height of his fame, Michael quietly faced a terrifying diagnosis: Hodgkin's lymphoma, a type of blood cancer. He kept filming during treatment, wearing a knit cap on set to cover his hair loss. Only later did fans learn the truth. Thankfully, the cancer was caught early, and after chemotherapy, Michael went into remission. Instead of hiding his experience, he used it to advocate for awareness and early detection. "You realize how precious life is," he said, "and you just don't want to waste a moment." Michael C. Hall returned stronger, on stage, on screen, and in spirit. Olivia Munn rose to fame with her wit, charm, and presence in shows like Attack of the Show and films like X-Men, Apocalypse. An actress, activist, and new mother, she seemed to be living life at full speed. But in 2023, Olivia shared a painful truth. She had been diagnosed with breast cancer. It was aggressive and unexpected. She quietly underwent multiple surgeries, including a double mastectomy, all while continuing to care for her young son. Olivia chose transparency, not for sympathy, but to encourage early screening and empower women to speak up for their health. "You can be scared and brave at the same time," she said. Through vulnerability and strength, Olivia Munn continues to inspire, not just as a star, but as a survivor. Jada Pinkett Smith has worn many titles: actress, talk show host, author, and activist. From The Matrix to Red Table Talk, she built a career rooted in bold truth and emotional honesty. In 2018, Jada revealed a deeply personal struggle. She was living with alopecia, an autoimmune disorder that causes hair loss. It was more than a physical change. It was a challenge to identity, confidence, and visibility. Instead of hiding, Jada embraced it publicly, becoming a voice for self-acceptance and vulnerability. "I had no choice but to surrender," she said. "And in that surrender, I found freedom." Through every stage of her journey, Jada Pinkett Smith stands not in shame, but in strength. Gigi Hadid rose to global fame as one of the most recognizable faces in fashion. With campaigns for Versace, Vogue covers, and a presence on every major runway, she became a symbol of modern beauty and success. But behind the glamour, Gigi lives with Hashimoto's disease, an autoimmune disorder that affects the thyroid, leading to fatigue, weight fluctuation, and muscle weakness. The pressure of public life made it even harder, as critics speculated on her changing body. Instead of staying silent, Gigi chose honesty, sharing her diagnosis and refusing to let it define her. "We're all just trying to feel good in our skin," she said. "And that's a journey worth sharing. Graceful, strong, and real." Gigi Hadid continues to redefine beauty on her own terms. Halsey is more than a pop star. She's a poet in motion, known for hits like Without Me and Graveyard, and for fearlessly sharing her truth through music. But offstage, Halsey has faced a complex health journey. She lives with endometriosis, an often painful condition that affects reproductive organs, along with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, mast cell activation syndrome, and postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, a rare combination that impacts daily life. In 2024, she hinted at a possible lupus-like illness, posting cryptic messages and images of treatment. Yet, through pain and uncertainty, Halsey continues to write, sing, and connect. "I feel like an old lady," she joked, "but I'm still fighting like hell." With honesty and resilience, Halsey remains a powerful voice for her generation and for everyone battling invisible pain.